the guys from Ping, they've kind of shown me how much the equipment matters.
I just love that I can hit any shot I kind of want.
We're going to be able to tell some fun stories about what goes on here to help golfers play better golf.
Welcome back to the Proving Grounds podcast. Here with Sahith Theegala in the Ping Tour truck. This is where the magic happens. Are you a visitor of this like weekly? Do you come over this way much? Do you kind of tinker a lot with your stuff?
You know, I'm not a big tinker. I really don't. Well, I don't think I am. Although recently I feel like I have been. Actually, I haven't been in the truck that much, but I feel like I've had guys go in and out of the truck like KO and Adam and Jack. And but yeah, I don't usually tinker a whole lot. The only thing I've been kind of messing around with is driver stuff and just different shafts and stuff like that. So, but honestly, I need to come in here more. I need to steal some snacks. And
is there a thing with the driver you're trying to hit, like window or trying to make a move one way or the other?
Yeah, so driver has always been the worst part of my game, and I've always been, the way I've gone about my driving, which like Ping has done a great job of helping me through this, is like, let's just go anti this driver instead of like, I'm not even worried how good my good shots are. I just want my bad shots to be less bad. So I went to my driver's tip, like, I want to say almost 2. It's either 1.5 inches or 2 inches.
I think it's 1.5 inches.
It's something, it's crazy boardy, like, has no kick in it. And I played a shorter shaft for a while too. I just switched back to a 45-inch, but it's just basically an anti-left shaft for me. And it does not, like, honestly, I don't spin it very much. I'm definitely bottom 15 on tour and spin.
Yeah.
But that's just my mechanism not hitting it left. And we're just because my swing and my body's gotten a little bit better, we're trying to like see if I can get into a more normal setup and see if like even my bad ones are less bad, but also my good ones are actually going to be really good.
So your good ones, are you trying to hit it like dead straight or little cut?
Definitely cutting,
okay,
yeah.
Low cut.
I used to play a big cut, but now I'd say my stock cut is like it's still pretty big, like 10 to 15 yards.
Yeah.
It's definitely falling pretty, you can tell it's falling pretty aggressively, but my swing is like, just from being in better shape, my swing's gotten better and tighter. So now my start lines are a little bit tighter and
not curving it as much.
Sometimes I'm missing it a little left. Yeah, I'm not curving it as much because of that. So that's why we're trying this.
What are you doing in terms of fitness? I mean, what have you changed? Has it been like the last 6 months, last year? What have you done in that world?
I'd say it's my last 4 years, honestly. I didn't work out one time in my life till college.
Okay.
And then I got to college and I'm like, I can't even do these basic. I couldn't do a dead bug. I was benching 25-pound dumbbells in each hand. It was embarrassing.
You're like KD when he first came in the league or something.
You just straight
Tom Brady's picture.
Worse, but worse.
Okay.
I've literally never worked out. And then in college, I realized the importance. I got injured a decent amount in college, which was a bummer. But I realized like I can prevent this if I just get in the gym. And honestly, I don't lift very much at all, but I've been working with the same trainer even in college, but after college, and he does a great job of kind of dialing me in, and my flexibility's gotten better. It's just honestly all I'm worried about is injury prevention and knock on wood. I haven't been injured since I've turned pro.
You probably know this, Sahith, but you've played more events in the last 12 months than anybody on tour.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think that's a good takeaway from a fitness standpoint for the listeners. Like,
for sure.
Hear it straight from you. You're just trying not to get injured. Right?
Yeah, exactly. I'm just trying not to get injured. I played 32 last year, and I was really happy with how my body held up. It was definitely too much. That'll
be the most. That'll be the max you play in your career.
Yeah.
I feel like I've taken so many weeks off this year, and I'm still going to play 27 or 28, which is a lot. But it's just a testament to my trainer and then the work I've been putting in. I've just been more diligent about it.
Yeah.
There's just times where like even my first year as a pro, I was getting better at it, but I just wasn't on top of it. So I'd go on the road for 2 weeks and lose all my progress. Yeah. But now I feel like I'm stacking my progress, and I've just gotten better and better at it. Yeah. It's huge help. I haven't even tried to gain distance or anything. Luckily, like I just have long levers and hit it, I'd say averagely far, but I've never even worked on speed stuff, and I've gained 4 or 5 miles per hour ball speed, just not working any speed. And we'll see if I do.
Yeah.
You know, I got to cover you. I remember, I think it was the Oakland Hills U.S. Amateur.
Oh, yeah.
It was like maybe 2016. And
yeah,
you
2016.
You must have been 16 or 17 years old, and you made a run.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of fun to cover you. And then obviously to see this progression into pro golf and now on the PGA Tour. Obviously the popularity of what happened at Phoenix last year, and then Netflix. What has this year, over the last 12 months, been like for you to go from a very good player, obviously, and then a professional golfer to now being somebody that people yell out when
Yeah.
they go and want their autograph from.
It's pretty nuts. I never saw myself as a very good golfer even through college. I know that 2016 AM really gave me a lot of confidence and helped me come into my own, and I had a couple nice years in college after that. But even then I was like, I didn't know if I was good enough to. I always thought I could make the tour, but I was just even in the end of college where I was like, am I going to be any good? And last
Spoiler
year
alert.
Man,
last year helped a
no
lot.
kidding.
It's just been so fun. Like the journey to get better is fun. I'm not even worried about the results, and I think that's been key for me. I have very little expectations for myself, and I'm just like, dude, I'm living my dream. Like I'm just gonna go out there, and I feel like I'd be doing myself and my team and my family and friends a disservice if I'm not giving it my all to get as good as I am, because I'm given this opportunity now. So that part's been really, really cool, and definitely humbling to see all the fans that I've gotten over the last year, and at this point, I feel like I'm doing it a lot for them too. I mean, it comes from myself, but I feel like I want to like play well for them too, and that's kind of helped too. But it's been really, really cool. I will say it's been overwhelming sometimes because I'm an introvert at heart, and I love having my own space, and I feel like I play a lot of golf, so I'm around a lot of people.
Yeah.
But no, I think that's a good problem to have, and I'm definitely getting more used to it, and I used to be a horrible, horrible speaker. I'm still not great at it. I'm getting better, but no, I mean, I cannot complain at all. It's been an awesome ride.
So that's so refreshing. Is that I mean, you won 3 junior worlds.
Yeah, when I was
Second
really
only to
young.
Tiger in number of junior worlds, and you still don't have that on the confidence meter. I'm picturing this confidence meter.
Yeah.
And you even going through college, it wasn't dialed up.
Well, you know what happened is I was really, really good when I was young, like young. I won my junior worlds 6, 8, and 10.
Gotcha.
I was just going off of like talent. I was just bigger than other kids when I was young, so I was just hitting it further, and I wasn't even that skilled. I felt like, and then once people started really practicing and getting real at their craft in middle school and early high school, that's when I went into a huge slump. Hit my growth spurt. I was not a good recruit even in high school, and I didn't play any of the I never played AJ invitationals, and I was lucky that even I was looking at some bigger schools, but I was gonna be essentially a walk-on.
Yeah.
So Pepperdine was kind of a blessing for me that I knew that I was gonna play right away. So definitely college was a big kind of step in the right direction. That's why I just went through a pretty big slump, I feel like, and well, for me, I felt like it was a slump. I still had good tournaments and won a little bit, but I just didn't know if it was next level potential.
Did you think that gives you that extra motivation? Man, a rumor out here on the tour is you're out here practicing a lot.
Playing a lot,
at least around the chipping green,
Yeah, I just love it. I truly love it.
You love the game. You love the practice. You love the grind.
Everything.
Which one of it?
I love the grind. I really do love the grind. There's obviously days where you're like, God, I don't want to do this, or like travel day, or you need to work on something that week on the range. And I don't love just beating balls. I love chipping though. It's my favorite part of my game. I can sit on these chipping greens for legit 10 hours. I can sit all day if you leave me unsupervised. But I just love it. I love playing. Just every part of it. Again, I think it goes back to the fact that I have this chance to do it. So it's like, why not give it my all within reason? And I'm getting better at leaving last year I spent all day, every day at the golf course. And this year I'm doing a good job of breaking it down where I only spend Wednesdays have been my chill days where I'm only on the course. Luckily I've gotten a lot of morning program times. I'll leave the course by 1 or 2 p.m.
Yeah.
But a day like today, I'm just here all day.
Yeah.
I'll sleep in a little.
Grinding on a Tuesday. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even know what's grinding though, because I sleep in. Today I got up at 7:45, 8. Just meandered over here, had breakfast, got to the range at 9. Didn't feel like I was stressing. Didn't feel like obviously I had stuff that I wanted to get done in practice and stuff that I wanted to get done on the course, but I spent 6 hours out there and it just went like that. So I don't know. It's just it's really nice to have all these every week have insane practice facilities too, where you just kind of get lost. It's like, well, this putting green's perfect. I might as well go sit there and putt for a while. So, but I'm learning the balance of overdoing it and still getting my work done.
So you love chipping. Tell us about your wedge setup. We've always you're playing a 58 degree right now. Did you grow up chipping with a 58? Did you ever use a 60, 56?
Yeah. So I grew up chipping with only a 56, and there's no really rhyme or reason for that. I think just when I started playing golf, I just picked up a 56 and didn't feel like I needed a lob wedge.
Yeah.
I thought that was a lob wedge when I was young. I didn't know any better. But I think I graduated to a 58 degree pretty late in high school. And I've tried a 60 degree one time, and I just hated it. Like, I've just been so used to my whole life 56, 58. That I just liked seeing chip shots come out in a certain window, and I hit full shots with my 58 degree too. They're 90% shots, where I feel like with a 60 degree it's almost too much loft. But it's definitely something I think I'm going to investigate in the future, because these greens are just so firm and fast every week, and I feel like golf courses are getting tighter and tighter with the grasses, so you need a little more nip. But I've always been a 58, so I go 58, 54, 50, and then I've kind of bounced between a 47 or 46 degree and then a blueprint pitching wedge. Yeah, I've been kind of on the blueprint pitching wedge for a while. Yeah.
So a really hard-hitting question here. I have the over-under at 3.5. How many iterations of facial hair do you feel like you've had on tour?
Yeah.
I mean, because you had the stash for a bit, and it was,
I think, 4.
A Hall of Famer.
Thank you.
Yeah, Hall of Fame stash.
I think 4. Because when I first got on tour, I had like the high. I didn't really shave it down or trim it down very much. So I had like the high, unkempt, just caveman beard.
Yeah.
And then I went clean shaven for a while. I still randomly, 1 or 2 weeks randomly. You need new karma, or you need new what's the word? You just need good vibe. You need new vibes with the beard. You need to get rid of the old vibes. So I just clean shave it and then try and get some new vibes with new facial hair. I've gone the stash 2 weeks. I did it.
How'd you play with the stash?
Not great.
Okay.
Actually, I did it last year at the Players. And that was my first iteration of the stash. It was sick, but I improved on it this year. Because I went, I didn't trim anything. I just left it all there, and I went clean on the end.
Right.
Which was a little aggressive. It was very super trooper.
I know you're younger. There's never been a mustache that's not aggressive. That's actually part of the mustache experience.
Well, my take on mustaches, I don't know if you guys agree, is I don't think anyone actually looks better with a mustache. I just think it's a statement.
Agreed.
You make 100%. A statement, you're like, that guy has a mustache, he's confident, and then all of a sudden you think that he looks better. Like my caddy Carl. Actually, my caddy Carl has a really good looking mustache. I'll give him that.
If he shaved it clean, would he look better?
No, I don't think so. Actually,
he's one of the
it's
few.
so ingrained in my head,
right,
that it's become a part of his thing now. But this
it's
year,
Ted Lasso, you see
exactly,
yeah, you see it in your brain.
But this year I went the stash, but with a 1 on the rest of my beard, and I think it looked a lot better. Okay. And I played well. I came in 14th at Bay Hill with it.
That was my question. What's the correlation there?
Yeah. The first one, I missed the cut of the Players last year, but 10 or something.
Immediate shave that off.
So immediate shave.
So you play a ton of golf. We've heard you're a pretty competitive chess player as well.
Yes.
How good are you? What's your handicap at chess? And what would you put yourself at?
If I had to put my chess elo as a handicap, I'd say I'm a 1 or 2 handicap.
So you're very good.
I think some other people would say I'm a scratch or better, but I don't believe that, because I've only really played online. I haven't played it in person that much, because I picked it up over when I hurt my wrist in 2019. So I'm pretty good. My rating is 1900.
Okay.
I'd say a true beginner is probably 400, 500, and then an intermediate player is 1,000 to 1,200. So I'd say I'm better than on my chess.com thing. It says what percentage your profile is in. I'm 99.4 or 5. I'd feel pretty confident I could beat anyone.
Do you feel like you'd be the best chess player on tour? Yeah, that's my question.
Yes.
Yeah. You'd be
I don't want to say
ranking number 1 chess FedEx Cup, you're leading.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't want to say that too, because there could be some guy that's
fine though. You gotta put it out there. You gotta put it out there.
You didn't play chess growing up? You just started a couple years ago?
So I knew the moves, and I went to a chess masters thing in middle school. So I knew the moves. I didn't know any openings, but I knew how all the pieces moved, and I knew the objectives. Yeah. So when I started off, I didn't start off as a 400 or 500. I kind of started off as a 700. So I had a little better grasp of it.
Yeah.
And then I have a very addictive personality. Once I get stuck on something, I do the same thing with books. I'll just binge read 3 books in a week. But I did this thing with chess where I couldn't do anything because I had surgery on my wrist. I just watched chess videos for 6 hours and study openings. So
the engineers at Ping, they're working on data scientists and all this stuff. Data scientists at Ping, they're on chess.com. And a few of them played you. One of them played you. He's like, no way, I'm playing against Sahith.
No way.
Yeah.
Someone
a couple months
ago. Do you know who won?
I don't know. I can't remember. We gotta go find.
Gotta
We gotta go
dig
track
that up.
down.
Have to dig up the results.
Yeah,
I haven't been playing
it's
a
addicting,
ton,
isn't it?
but it's so addicting.
Yeah.
But I played last week a decent amount, and I had a bunch of just like fans give me challenges, and I
Really?
played one of them. Someone beat me.
So is like your username like Theegala one? Like how do they find
Yeah,
you?
it's SR, and then Daniel Rappaport in late last year was like tweeting about my chess or asking me about chess. And I'm like, here's my account. Challenge me and I'll play.
Interesting.
And I got 1,000 requests. I couldn't even play anyone because I got too many. So I think now that it's died down, now I'm actually able to play people that want to play.
You said you're into books. What are you reading right now?
Right now I'm rereading To Kill a Mockingbird. I have one of my favorite authors. He's kind of a young adult author. I'd say my brother, he's 18. He gave me this book. It's a Neil Shusterman book. It's called Roxy. But I read a lot of I like fiction. I like easy reads, and I'm not a huge, I read like some self-improvement books or life books, but not very often. But those are the two books I have right now.
Are you digital? Or you
No. Hard.
You get the hard books.
I cannot. I get a headache looking at a phone.
Oh man, I've been like deep in
Your
the Kindle. My Kindle my 4-year-old just scratched my Kindle, so now it's like not only reading on a Kindle, but has just this deep scratch right down the middle.
That's not it.
It's brutal. It's brutal. That's why I haven't been reading lately.
When do you read? Like on your tour schedule? Is it traveling weeks only? Hotel? Let's see. What's your?
Just kind of at night. I've been trying to, cause like I'd literally fall asleep watching chess videos or playing chess or watching YouTube or something. So I'm like, I'm gonna try and sleep without my phone near me. So I'll put my phone away, pick up the book.
Yeah.
And then soon enough, you get tired enough when you shut it away. But it's pretty much only at night. And then if I have an off week and I'm just sitting at home doing nothing, I'll pick it up and read some. Yeah. But I used to be a crazy reader when I was younger, but I probably stopped for 4 or 5 years and just picked it back up a year or two ago.
Yeah.
When did your relationship with ping start? Because I know you'd mentioned some stuff in college. When did that relationship begin?
It was all Brownie, to be honest. And my coach, Rick Hunter, who's still with me, we've been together for 17 years now, but he was on ping staff when I was playing junior worlds when I was 12 and 13. So when I was 13 years old, Brownie came and watched me at a Riverwalk golf course in San Diego. And ever since then, I traded in my U.S. Kids golf clubs. I literally played them until I was 13 for pings, and that was my first set. I think it was S57s maybe. Does that sound about right for that time? S57s. I started with like those felt like impossible blades to hit for me at the time, but so I've been playing ping since I was 13, and honestly, I've played 14 clubs for a few years now.
Is it wild? Is it wild thinking back to that kid that's 12 and 13 that's getting clubs to now wear the hat? You know what I'm saying? Like to be paid and to be sponsored and to come in a truck like this. Like, do you ever have moments where you think back and go, I can't believe this company cares enough to do this?
Well, I couldn't believe they trusted me that much when I was that young. Yeah. And the fact that I was getting free golf clubs where some of my friends are paying thousands and thousands of dollars on golf clubs and all that stuff, I definitely never took it for granted. But now it's really cool that I've been repping ping. And the thing I tell people is that I just feel like equipment is such a comfort-based thing.
Totally
you just need to really love the feel and comfortability of your clubs, and it's got to look good to you too. And I think playing ping for a while and that I'm just so comfortable in the stuff.
It'd be hard to look down at something.
It'd be hard to look down at something else, and then the relationships too. Like I've gotten to know the ping guys so well.
Yeah.
And they're just great people. You can just joke around, and I feel like we've genuinely become friends and acquaintances, and it's fun to be around them, which is great too.
Sahith, you mentioned, going back to the stats, you think you're 99th percentile in chess.
Yes.
Or at least out here on tour. Let's talk about on your golf game, are you into the stats?
Yes.
Do you follow the stats, you and your coach, your team, and then, because looking at your strokes gain stats.
Yeah.
I mean, one of your best parts of your game is iron play over 200 yards.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're in the top 10 percentile out here, which is just dominant. Probably drives your, long par threes.
Yeah.
Tons of long par threes over 200. You get to a big golf course.
Yeah.
Second shots on par fours, then you can attack par fives.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say are your strengths of your game, and how much do you look at analytics versus kind of just trusting your instinct?
I've always loved looking at stats for other people and in general, but for myself personally, I don't really love. I like looking at my stats, but I don't use my stats to do a whole lot in terms of analytics, except my putting.
Okay.
Putting stuff, I definitely look at what ranges I'm best at, like my speed and all that stuff. I definitely do that. But in terms of ball striking stuff, I don't look at it too much because I feel like my iron play has always been good. I've never felt like a great iron player. I think I'm getting close. I'm getting close to being more consistent. But one thing I've never had an issue is getting height on a ball.
Yeah.
So I think that's why my par 3 scoring average has always been great. My long irons I always feel like are good because I can kind of hoist them and just kind of land them in the middle of the green, not try to fit it in this little 2-yard window that you're trying to land on because it's firm. So I feel like that's why my long irons have always been good. But I'd say the best part of my game is always my short game. My putting and chipping and stats always back that up, except last year with my putting, which was weird. But my stats always back that up. I feel like even through college, I was such a bad ball striker. I would legit gain, for a couple seasons, I gained over a shot on the greens for the year and still not winning. That just showed how bad I was hitting it. But
your total strokes gain is trending now.
It is,
if you
for
look at the
sure.
last 5 or 6 years, where they track some of your play in your amateur events, you're on a nice trend.
And I think the reason I kind of refocused myself a little bit last year because I was just kind of getting sucked in a little bit to looking at, okay, I need to get my driving better because my driving, I was like 180th and off the tee last year. So like, I need to get this better. I need to hit these irons better.
Yeah.
I'm like, I got to stick to my DNA, which is just my short game. So honestly, I just kind of focused myself into practicing more short game. So I'd sit, even though stats are saying these are my worst parts of my game, I ended up working harder on my best parts of my game. And that's really shown this year. I don't think my stats are actually that good overall, which is always a funny thing to me, but I think I'm in the mid 30s to 40s in short game and putting. And I feel like I haven't putted that great this year, but it's good to see the improvement. And then the long game, just I feel like practicing more of my short game, it's kind of taking stress off my long game. And this is the best ball striking year I've ever had in my life, which is funny because I'm still 130th off the tee.
I mean, that's the give and take with the stats, though, is that you can feel I'm improving here. I see it in front of me.
Yes.
And, being 130th on planet Earth at one thing is when you compare it to that, it's like it's a little bit of a different thing. You can be self-deprecating about your golf game, which is a good thing, I think. I'm very self-deprecating about pretty much everything in my life. You're very honest. You talk about loving the grind. Who do you look up to that's either played before or out on tour as someone that you kind of want to follow along in the way they've done it and the way they do it?
Yeah. Obviously, I just feel like people my age, the big three, at least for me, well, it's almost four, but it was Tiger, VJ, and Phil. And then I definitely put Ernie in there. I think you could argue Ernie's had a better career than VJ, actually. But those guys, and then the guy I grew up a lot watching in my, I feel like, more formative years of high school and middle school, high school, and college was Rory. And I just love Rory's game. My game is nothing like Rory's. It's as opposite as you can get from Rory's, to be honest. But just watching him, I've always like, man, if I can ever get to even if I could get to 10% of what Rory does, that would be really, really cool. But
have you played with him?
I just played with him first time in my life last week in Charlotte, and it was sick. Unfortunately, it was Saturday, and we were like third group off, so we weren't having a great week. But we didn't play well either. We actually scraped her out. We both shot even the third round. But he was such a cool guy, and I've always kind of looked up to him, and even though he's only 8 years older than me or something. But another guy whose game I've loved watching in high school and college was JT. I feel like if anyone, I feel like my game is closest to his. You definitely see him hit some shots where it's like, what the? That was one of the worst shots I've ever seen. And then he'll hit just magical shots. I mean, this guy, the way he works the ball, I've played with him. I've gotten lucky enough to play with him 3 times now this year, and the way he works the ball is a joke. Like it looks fake almost. Like he'll have a back left pin. And he's been hitting these tight cuts all day, and he'll just snipe a 30-yard draw in there just because it's. I feel like it's his way of seeing the shot the best, and the way he flights his wedges is a joke. I mean, of all the people in terms of that, I've been like, wow, this game really is probably JT, which is cool to see because I was like, I kind of want to not mimic my game after him, but I see myself.
Good person to mimic your game after.
Yes, for sure.
He's won a lot, and he's won a lot of big things.
Yeah.
If you can do it and it makes sense to you, why not, right?
Yeah.
Would you say he's the player that's out here right now that's shaping the ball into the pins the most that you play with?
You know what's crazy is I feel like if he just steps up there and hits a stock swing, I feel like his stock swing doesn't even move. It's like dead straight, maybe falls a yard right. So in terms of the guy, guys I've played with, he definitely moves it the most. Max Homa also gets it moving pretty good left to right, which I love because I do that. But I feel like a lot of the other guys I've played with, they can move it both ways, but it is just so tight. Like Xander and Pat and those guys. I mean, their ball moves that much in the air.
Just teeny little. Yeah.
Do you struggle seeing yourself equal to those guys? Like,
Yes.
How do you combat that? Like, how do you combat the feeling that these guys are here and I'm here trying to get to that place?
I just from an eye test and looking, I know everyone is biased somewhat. I tend to think people are biased more negatively than positively when thinking about your own shots and own game, especially golf.
I'll hate ourselves all the time. Yeah.
I just feel like my good shots don't look anything like these other guys' good shots, and I know that's not true. But I joke with my buddies out here. I still think I hit some of the worst shots on tour. Period. I think there's probably a compilation of my space balls, and I've had to sign so many gloves and balls for people I've hit. But it definitely was hard. Last year, I didn't even think I could compete with some of these guys, and last year was big, making tour championship and still feeling I had the world to improve on my game. So I know how hard it is, and you can lose it at any moment's notice. But just kind of knowing how hard it is like, I'm not scared of any of these guys, but I just still feel like I have a ways to go to reach those guys' levels, such as Xander and Pat and Scotty and those guys. They just do it every week. Like, I have a great week and I'll finish 5th, right? I'll have a great week, play great. They'll have an off week and finish 7th. That's their third worst finish of the year. I was
diving through some finishes. I was looking at Tony's.
It's silly.
His silly. Worst finish is 35th. 31st, that consistency. And again, but I mean, that's attainable. I mean, that's the thing about consistency is you see players work to that point where they get into a position where that game is consistent and then it makes more sense.
So I have an interesting take
let's hear
about this, just like ranking stuff. I just feel like any given week, anybody can win. Everybody's so good out here. The 180th guy on FedEx Cup could have one. There's a reason they're out there. They're out here and playing well. But I will say, I think there's a gap between, top 6 to 8 guys in the world and then everybody else. I think there's a discernible gap where I think even Max was talking about it. Like, even, that guy's on a heater. He's playing the best golf, one of the nicest guys, playing the best golf of his life. And he still feels like there's a gap between him and John Rahm. And these guys are just playing absurd golf week in and week out. And I think that goes kind of under the radar sometimes. Like, I feel like people get, like, Pat will finish 12th in an event and be like, oh, he's slumping or something. Like Colin. Colin's like 8th in the world now. Everyone's like, oh, he's playing horrible, slumping. He's leading strokes gain approach. He's made 5 mil this year.
He's having his best iron year ever this year. Yeah. His best iron year ever.
So people are just like so.
It's just crazy.
Result oriented, I guess. But yeah, just how consistent those guys are.
So Sahith, I'm gonna combine 2 things. We want to hear this story.
Yeah.
1, being in with the gallery, or in this case, the patrons, and 2, your short game. Tell us about 16 at Augusta.
Oh my goodness.
We got to
that was, huh?
So I'll give some background on my golf game that led to that shot. Anyway, the last 5 months I've been playing almost strictly a cut with my irons. And my whole first year on tour, I was hitting like shallow draws, which I've never hit in my life. And that's part of the reason why I played well. But for some reason on this hole, I was like, I'm going to hit a draw. Well, back left pin, like the slope, all that stuff, right?
It's begging for it.
And my draw definitely spins less and comes off a touch lower. But I've been used to my fade yardages, which if I was fading it, I probably would have hit 6-iron there. 185 yards into the wind out of the right. But I hit 7, and I actually thought I put a good swing on it, but I pulled it a hair and it rode the wind. And I'm looking at this thing, I'm like, oh my God, this is so long.
This is 20 over.
This is 10 yards left of the pin. This is going to kill somebody. Sure enough, it doesn't even land. It lands in the gallery.
Right.
It landed 15 yards over the pin. And I hit a poor lady in the head. I did send a picture out to her, though. She signed it the next week. But I hit her in the head, which kept it from going on to hole 6, essentially. So it stayed in the middle of the gallery, kind of in the mud there. And it took 3 minutes to clear the whole gallery out there. And, of course, in those 3 minutes, 100 people were talking about the Tiger shot. Due for Tiger, man. And I'm just hearing it. And at one point, I wasn't, like, chipping her. I was laughing at everything. At one point, I was like, chip it in like Tiger. I was like, bro. I literally turned to the guy. I was dead quiet. I was like, bro, I'm trying to chip this on the green. Everyone started laughing, and I'm not laughing.
Right.
I'm
You're
actually
like legitimately just trying to get it on the green.
I mean, I'm on dirt.
I'm trying to not make 5.
I'm literally on wet dirt. I'm like, I just can't chunk this, or else I'm gonna hit 2 feet in front of me. It's gonna be embarrassing. But I just kind of blacked out. Honestly, I was already feeling the nerves from just the whole day and the whole week, and I kind of blacked out over the chip. And sure enough, I landed it right on my spot, and I'm like, oh, sick! I just hit it to like, I probably have 5 feet coming back for par. And I took a couple steps forward to get a better look, and I'm like, no way.
So that's when you first started thinking it.
Yeah, with like 6 feet to go, I was like, this thing could go in the hole. And sure enough, it went in. I kind of lost it. Like I don't remember even what I did celebration-wise, but I know I high-fived 3 guys harder than I ever have in my life. I slapped Carl in the back so hard. And it got me fired up even more because Carl was the most even-keel guy, and he was
He's
like jumping
losing
around.
it too.
And then Tony, playing with Tony and his caddy Mark, they're the biggest chillers ever. They're so pumped for me. So, but I could not control my adrenaline.
I'm assuming you watched it.
Oh, I lost it.
Have you watched the chip in a few times?
It, yes. I've watched that shot more than I've watched any other shot in my life. Okay. Not even close. Because it's like you see a different thing with like the fans.
Yeah. Every time it's like pick somebody else out in the gallery.
But I was shaking. It was like I don't do drugs, but I feel like it's better than any drug that I could ever take in my life. I mean, that feeling was unbelievable. And
where'd you hit the tee shot on 17?
Striped it.
Did you really?
I was shaking, literally shaking. Striped it, and then I hit the worst iron shot of my entire life on the second shot because I was still nervous.
Right, you're still all
I was
around.
like, I just wish I didn't have 2 more holes to play after that chip in, but I hit a 168-yard shot, 47. I literally 47 yards offline after the drop. From the grandstand.
So it was like 60 yards offline.
Hit it into the grandstand to a back right pin with a 9-iron on 17 at Augusta. But no, that was the coolest moment of
That's
my
your
golf
best
career.
pro moment so
yeah,
far.
For sure.
So before we let you go, just a couple of quick hitters.
Yeah.
Favorite candy is what?
Probably Twix. It's kind of random. But
do you have a Twix a week?
No, I don't.
Do you have a Twix a month?
No. I don't even eat chocolate.
When's the last time you went to the movie theater and saw a movie in the theater? And do you know if you've seen it, what was the movie?
I don't remember the name of the movie, but the only time I go to the movie theater now is with my parents, and then we watch Indian movies.
Okay.
So I don't even know the name of them. Probably it's been 6 months now since winter.
Oh, that's not
5
bad.
months.
No. Yeah. When's the last time you saw a movie, Marty?
I was thinking is that Alex Honnold movie where he's climbing.
Free Solo.
Yeah, Free Solo.
In the theater, you saw it in the theater.
Yeah.
Wow, I bet that was intense. Is that like an IMAX or something?
Yeah, it was intense.
Oh man, I would have liked to see this. See, I want to go see Air. We have 2 little kids. I want to go see Air. Yeah. And now it's like out on Netflix, and my wife's like, we're just gonna watch it.
Yeah,
at home. I'm not gonna do that. We're just gonna stay at home.
Yeah.
When you get the courtesy car, do you drive or ride?
I drive every time.
Every time?
Yeah. I don't even have. Usually, I travel by myself, so it's just me.
Do you think you've played on your phone the most the last 2 years in terms of an artist?
My musical taste is nobody really likes. I listen to a lot of techno. I'd say Charlotte DeWitt. She's like a very techno-y, pretty hardcore techno. Too.
Are you like going hardcore on the like if you're listening to music on the range and stuff?
I can't listen to music when I practice. It just like I'm so sound and strike based that I've tried and it just hasn't worked. But pre-round for sure, I'll bump some EDM and some. I won't go hardcore techno, but I'll go like some nice deep house or something like that.
What do you think you eat? What place do you think you eat at the most throughout the year on the road? Like it's like your staple. It might be Chick-fil-A or Chipotle or something like that.
I eat a decent amount of Chick-fil-A and Chipotle. I'd say once a week, just either on a travel day or just a day where you finish late and you have an early tea time and go to Chipotle. But I love Thai food. I probably have Thai food at least twice a week on the road.
Twice a week.
Yeah, and I love sushi and Japanese food, and my stomach usually handles everything pretty well. So I'm a little loose on what I eat, which is
on the Thai food. Are you like a Yelp guy? Like how are you finding these places?
Well, I'll go double. I make sure we've been on a hot streak. I haven't eaten at a bad Thai place in like a year and a half, but I'll go double. I'll go Yelp and Google reviews.
Oh yeah, you double down.
You gotta double down because sometimes you never know. But I've seen good Yelp reviews and bad Google and vice versa too.
But so I have a take. You had a take earlier. I have a take on this whole Yelp world we live in because we travel a decent amount. We're on the road a lot, right? It's a little bit like what you talked about with stats with the golf game. Is like you can look at these things.
Yeah.
But like I live in an area where the best wings are like the worst. You would never go in this place in a million years. It's the worst looking building in the world.
Yeah.
And there's a Thai place down the street from my house that's the same way. You wouldn't walk in the front door. So I feel like I focus so much on Yelp Yet I have to remind myself of the time, it actually might be okay.
Yeah. Well, that's why if I'm at new places, I usually ask guys what they do or where they eat. A lot of the times they eat at really nice places. Like I haven't reached that level yet, but I'll ask like the volunteers or the people working in the shop and stuff like, hey, like what's a good place to go get wings, or what's a good place to go get sushi and stuff like that, and see like I've definitely eaten at some places that haven't had good reviews, but guys have recommended to me and it's been great. So
I love hearing the story on 16 at Augusta, because this is what you don't hear on TV.
Oh, this is unbelievable.
We just see the chip.
You see the chip
reaction,
and the celebration.
Man. I want to hear what
the
happened.
feeling.
I love the shot. Now, you know what I'm going to do? The first thing I'm going to do when we're done with this is I'm going to go to masters.com and I'm going to look at the tracer on 17 on their second shot.
It's a little narcissistic, but I might have to do it a few times.
You
get the juices flowing
as well. Appreciate the time as always.
Yeah.
Good luck the rest of the year.
Sure.
Keep doing what you're doing. We really appreciate it.
Thanks, Marty.
All right, so
fun.
That was awesome.